Hey YouTube, we are back to go ahead and remove the glass off of this Galaxy S3. If you missed the disassembly, go ahead and hit the link in the bottom left hand corner. We're using a couple of pry tools here, a couple of rubber razor blades. We'll be using this disassembly opening tool and possibly this metal razor blade. If it starts to get a little bit tricky, we can help pry up the screen and start it off for us. We'll be using a few of these razor blades to pry down the sides, and that'll separate the screen for us as we go. We'll need a heat gun. This is a very important part. We're going to heat up the glue underneath the glass to help separate it. And we'll need a infrared thermometer to make sure we don't heat it up too much. This isn't a necessity. You don't have to have this. I like to. I've burnt an LCD before by heating it up a little too much. So we're going to use this and make sure that we don't get it too hot. You want to be careful down here at the bottom as you're doing this. There are the ribbon cable for the buttons down here at the bottom. And there's a ribbon cable right here on the side for the LCD. You don't have to worry about that too much if you're just removing the glass itself. So we're going to go ahead and start by heating it up. We don't want to get it hotter than roughly 180 degrees. It's not like a set point, like if you go over to 182, you're in trouble. 180 is kind of that set range where you want to be to really get the glue to come loose. So we'll go ahead and heat this up in a circular motion. You don't want to leave the heat gun anywhere on it for more than roughly a couple seconds, maybe 3 seconds, as you'll start to possibly burn the polarizing film underneath. So we'll move it around. Let's keep it going around on the phone. You do want to make sure it's pretty even as you pull the glue up. Since it has to unglue completely from the AMOLED as we go through this. The AMOLED is actually pretty easy to break, so you want to make sure you take it nice and slow as you do this. Don't do anything too crazy. If you start to feel a little resistance as you pull the glass off of the phone, stop and apply more heat. You may have to do this a few times as you remove the glass from the AMOLED. Just to be on the safe side, you'll see me heat it up at least a couple times for sure. Alright, starting to get into that heat range we're looking for. So I'll just double check the top is where I'm going to start at, so we'll make sure that it's the right degree. It's like a 189, I think is what it said there. We'll use our opening tool here, see if we can get a good start on the glass. Just dip it in and then pull it up. We're not looking to get a large amount of separation here. We want to slide it in. And you'll see that there's some double-sided 3M adhesive right here, which you'll have to get through first. I'm replacing the frame on this, so I'm not too concerned about dinging it or denting it, or I would have started with the plastic razor blades, as they are much easier on the frame than this ISSMO tool is. Looks like we lost a little bit of our heat. It's not exactly where we want it to be, so we're going to heat it up a little bit more. It can be a little bit tricky to start it, but once you get it started, it definitely goes a lot faster. So again, even though I'm trying to get the top hot, I want to heat up the entirety of the phone, as you'll see me move back down around the bottom and then back up. We'll give it another shot here, see if we can't get our opening tool in again. We've got a little bit of separation last time, so it should make it a little bit easier here for us. Alright, here we go. We're just going to move our opening tool down the side of the phone here. And I'm trying just a little bit, see if I can get the glue to separate. You'll see it start to kind of spider web out as you get the glue to separate to a degree. We're going to put our plastic razor blade in here, as we don't want the phone to glue itself down. And we'll just kind of slide our tool across here. Excellent. Alright, we'll put our other razor blade in just right here. Try and get that adhesive to slide back just a little bit. There we both of our razor blades in here. We're going to push this one in just a little bit. It still feels fairly warm. Just going to slide our razor blade down a little bit closer to the AMOLED. If you don't start to see it separate, you want to be very slow on this process because this AMOLED is very easy to crack. So we're going to apply more heat now. And again, just checking the infrared to make sure that we're not heating up past that mark. And just always constantly move your heat gun up and down the glass. You can see that the glue started to separate there. You can see that it's starting to spiderweb out a little bit now with the heat that I applied to it. So that means that I was working with it before. It wasn't to the heat point where the glue had got to the consistency where it was liquid. So now that we have it done, we're going to push this razor blade in just a little bit further. And we're going to constantly be pushing down on this end and pulling up on the other end. So that way the razor blade never digs into the LCD. Even though it's plastic, the goal is a little concerned about breaking this AMOLED. They are pretty tricky, a little bit trickier than if you've ever done an iPhone or something like that. They are a lot thinner than what you would see there on like an iPhone 4 or a 4S. Alright, making good progress here. Just trying to see if I can get it to spread just a little bit more. Make sure the adhesive is pulled out from all the way underneath this phone. We're going to get them lined up here so we can start moving them down the phone. Make a little bit of progress here. Just try to see if I can get it to spiderweb out a little bit more. There we go. That is a little bit better. You see a little bit of a lip as you're prying this up, so pushing it kind of up to a degree and then pulling it forward. You can see how much the LOCA glue is spread here. I got a little bit harder, so I'm going to apply some more heat. And as I apply the heat, you'll probably see the glue come a little bit even further as I apply the heat to it. It's got that little extra force underneath the glass, so the glue's got that little bit of separation. I'm constantly monitoring the infrared thermometer just because I don't want to burn this LCD. You can see that the glue came off just a little bit, so that's nice and hot. And you can slide your plastic razor blade down. Now you can do this with playing cards as well, which I've used in the past. I like these razor blades just because it gives me a little bit extra leverage, pulling the glass up a little bit. I thought it'd be a little more successful that way. And you can see as I pull that razor blade down how that glue separates from the LCD. And as you do it, you'll be able to feel when it starts to get tough, when the glue starts to harden. And there it is, hardened up again. You'll feel the resistance. And as I heat it up, you'll probably see the glue recede just a little bit further. It doesn't take a lot to get it hot again as we've started the process, and as you work your way down, it gets a little bit easier and easier as it holds its heat a little bit better. Alright, it feels like it's losing its heat again. So just to double check. Now the goal is that you want to keep it right to that right temperature. You don't want to go too hot or too cold. So I'm going to be a little bit diligent about applying the heat here. Alright, let's move our razor blade down and separate the glass out here. Alright, you can see that's receded all the way back to the bottom of the LED here. Our phone's kind of glued itself back down here at the top. It's a concern. Alright, now what we're going to do is I'm just trying to peek in there and see if the home buttons are attached. The home buttons will be glued to the bottom of the phone here. So I'm going to open it kind of like a book here. And you can see right underneath, if I get my camera to focus, dang it. Right underneath, you'll see these home buttons are attached to the screen. So what we're going to do is use this opening tool or a playing card, and you can separate them from the glass. You don't want to rip this off, as that'll rip the cable that attaches your two buttons, and that would just be another pain to replace. You don't want to have that happen. Alright, I'm just going to pull this adhesive on the bottom. It's still got a little bit of the 3M tape holding the glass down, and just trying to pull up. There's some adhesive that sticks the buttons to the glass, so be careful with that as well. And we're just going to start to remove the LOCA glue from our LED here. I don't like to use anything too crazy special. I'm going to use my fingers at first just to pry out the big portions here. It seems like my fingers are probably one of the smoothest things that I could use. Now, I'm not going to be pressing a lot of force onto the glass. I'll just be using kind of that resistance and a little bit of the heat to kind of ball it up and pull it up. Now, it may come off and look like there's one big sheet left, or you may just have a little bit. You can see right here this big kind of sheet of glue that I'm pulling up. See that? The glue's still pretty warm, so I can pry it up. Just balling the glue up with my hands, I pull it down. Now, once I get the glue completely taken off, we'll go ahead and start removing the LED from the frame. Now, if you were trying to do the in-frame LOCA repair, then you wouldn't have to do my next video. All you would have to do is clean it up. At this point, make sure that your home buttons are in place with maybe a little double-sided 3M adhesive. And then just put your glue on, and then put your new glass on top, and then throw under the UV light. Just working my way down the frame. It seems like a lot of times where the glue is at is just down the side, and it's the trickiest part to get it off of. You can see that I've pulled off a lot of glue so far. You want to make sure that you get this very clean. Any dust or any imperfections you have on here will show through. And if you're going through the painstaking process of pulling this glass off and disassembling your phone, I really like to make it look as good as possible. I'm going to use a little bit of heat here. This is a little tricky. You may want to make sure you hold it further away than you did when you were removing the glass off of the phone. A lot of people say not to do this and put the direct heat on, but I think if you're careful, it's fine. And all I'm trying to do is heat the glue back up enough where it becomes a little bit more pliable. You can use like a plastic razor blade to help do this, but I really prefer just to use my hands. It seems to be the easiest way to do it. We'll use this razor blade just here on the side, and I get the glue out of the crack in there. It'll also help you start, maybe if you're peeling up a layer, to get it started that way as well. The nice thing about using your hand is you're not going to put enough pressure on it. You can feel how much pressure is on it. You're not going to put too much to break this LED. I'm just trying to pull it up in one big sheet, make it a little bit easier on me. Go nice and slow. Making some good progress. Now, the glue they use in the factories is different than the one that I'm going to be using to lay it down. They actually basically put on a big sticker adhesive and then heat it up and stick it onto the phone or the LED that way. Whereas we'll be using more of a liquid rather than a sheet of adhesive. Making some pretty good progress here. Now, another way you can help remove this adhesive is I've seen people use Goo Gone, and I've used it in the past on some iPhones that I've done. What I normally prefer to use is just straight alcohol and a little bit of heat to remove it. I find that that's a little bit more reliable, plus it's a lot cheaper, and doesn't make your phone smell like orange, which is a plus. Either way, your phone, if you're using LOCA, will smell like LOCA for quite a little while after you get it set up. Most, even new phones, if you remove the backing off of them, smell like that glue. Just pry that up. You can see we made a lot of progress. A lot of the glue has been removed now. Just trying to ball it up off the corners here. It can be a little tricky if you're not going to remove the LED from the frame to pull the glue off the side, so you want to make sure you are very diligent about getting all the glue out of the sides of the phone here. Make sure your glass sits nice and flush when you put it back on. Scraping some of the 3M adhesive tape that's still in here off. And being very gentle not to actually touch the LED. Still a big chunk of the black adhesive they used to glue the glass down. Alright, just pry this adhesive off of the frame of the phone here. Alright, there we go. Now we continue to pull the glue off the top without it getting stuck all over the place. Now, like I was saying, if you're going to be doing the glass reassembly from here, and just putting your new glass in without using a mold, all you need to do is put your LOCA glue on. You can actually see the same way that I do it in the mold in my next video, and then lay your glass down and then throw it under the UV light. I take it out because I think there's a little too much glue that goes in the sides and makes it look a little bit easier, a little bit more professional, although on this phone it's a little bit tricky as you have to remove the LED and it's glued into the back of the frame here, so we'll have to pry it out, and I'll show you how to do that with some playing cards and a lot of heat. So if you want to watch the gluing, hit the jump to the next video. If you're just going to stop here, you can see the reassembly video down here at the bottom of this one as well to help you get you back on to your next step. Thanks for watching. If you found the video helpful, go ahead and like it. Subscribe to me if you want to see more videos on fixing phones in the future.